Hey, you guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go over box and whisker plots. Before we do that, though, fact number 83 about me, I'm going to tell you guys about the single most important skill that I learned that got me through high school and college and even through work now as a teacher. And the funny thing is, that I actually learned it in middle school. So, back when I was in middle school, we had connections classes just like you guys do now. One of our connections classes was a typing class. So, every day for an entire 9 weeks, all we did was type on a computer. That was it. So when that typing class started that first week, we took a little typing test to see how fast we could type, how many words a minute. I remember I got like 30 words a minute. And that was one of the fastest in the class. So I thought it was really cool because I could type 30 words a minute. And just like a lot of kids, when you learn how to type, a lot of kids just use their two index fingers. And that's okay. That's kind of like the natural instinct to go and start typing with. But that is not the fastest way. The fastest way is to actually use all 10 of your fingers, all right? That is the most efficient and the quickest way to learn how to type. But as like a seventh grader, I didn't really realize this. So I thought it was really cool because I could type 30 words a minute. And I remember I was sitting next to this kid that I didn't like. His name was Peyton. And I remember I didn't like him. I don't even remember why. I probably thought he was weird. Funny looking back, he probably wasn't. But for whatever reason, I didn't like him. And I remember I was like bragging on myself, which I hate that I was that guy, but I probably was. At least back in seventh grade. And I was like, look how fast I can type. I can type 30 words a minute. I'm so cool. And I remember he said, but you're only using your two index fingers. You're supposed to use all your fingers, like the typing program says. I was like, oh yeah, I know, but I can type way faster this way. I'm gonna keep doing this. And he just said, I mean, you can, but you're never gonna be better if you don't do it the right way. And I remember I hated that he was right. He was exactly right. And it's one of those things that he probably has no memory of this, I'm sure. But it was such a profound statement to make because there are so many things that we do that we get into our little habits of doing them, and they're fine. They work, I'm sure. But when we learn the better way, sometimes it's a little harder, especially at first. And it's so important to do it the right way as opposed to the easy way because sometimes those aren't the same thing. So, anyway, I started using all my fingers to type just like the typing program said. And I started using all 10 of my fingers, all right? And over the 9 weeks, I actually went from 30 words a minute to like 90 words a minute, which not only was the fastest speed in our class, but the fastest speed in the entire seventh grade. I became a really good typist. And then over the years, the more you type, the better you get, especially the more you type correctly, all right? Exactly the way a typing program tells you to, just like typing.com or something. And eventually I got my speed up to like 110 words a minute, which is pretty crazy. So it is the single most important skill that I learned. All right. Number one, do things the right way, not necessarily the easy way. And also use all of your fingers to type because you will be so much better at it. You can write papers faster than everybody else. You can look up information and do research faster than anybody else. It has made such a difference. All right. So, anyway, let's get back to the math. This is about box and whisker plots. The first thing up here, it just says the 5 number summary. We hear that a lot because there's five main numbers that we need to go make a box and whisker plot. Instead of writing them out, where's the pen? There we go. There we go. So the 5 numbers that we need the minimum. I'm just going to go and underline them up here. We need the maximum. That's just the smallest number in the data set and the largest number in the data set. We need the median. That's the middle number in the data set. And then we need the lower quartile. That's what LQ stands for, lower quartile. And the upper quartile. That's what UQ stands for, upper quartile. And then over here, we don't need these to make a box and whisker plot, but they are really important. So I'm going to include those two, okay? The range and the IQR. That just stands for interquartile range. Interquartile range. All right. So let's go and find these pieces of information. Step number one, let's go and list all the numbers in order from least to greatest. That's always a good place to start. So I'm going to go and list all these numbers out from least to greatest. All right. Let's see. Now, whenever I do this, I'm going to go and mark them out as I use them. So we have 71, 76, 79, 71, 76, 79. Then I got, let's see, 83, 87. Oh, I got a bunch of 87s. 83. And then 87 repeats 3 times. And then I got 90, 92. Oh, I'm going to run out of room, but that's okay. That's okay. 92, whoops. 96 and 98. That's a 92. 96 and 98. Oh, that's okay. That'll work. Whoops. Perfect. And I'm going to go make sure I have all my numbers. I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Over here I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got them all. Now let's go and find these pieces of information. The minimum and the maximum are the easiest. No math needed. The minimum is the smallest number. Looks like that's a 71. The maximum is a 98. That's my biggest number here. Perfect. Now let's go and find the median, all right? The median is the middle number. So I'm going to go and mark off all these numbers on the left and the right until I'm left with one in the center. And remember, if we have an odd set of numbers, like here, I have 11 numbers. I'm going to have one number in the middle, all right? I'm going to put a little dash underneath to let me know when I mark them off, just so, I'm going to mark off a few at a time, just so I know what I've marked off, all right? 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh, it looks like we're left with 87. That's our median. There we go. Now, we're going to go and split this data into two halves, a lower half and an upper half. If I have an odd amount of numbers, I have a median right here, 87, I'm not going to include it when I go and split it up. Because if I did, that would make one of the halves larger than the other. Right now, I have 5 numbers on each side. All right, the same amount. That's what I want to keep. I'm going to draw a line right down the middle. I'm even going to cross out the 87 because I don't want to include that. Then, looking back on my lower and upper half, I'm going to go find the lower quartile and the upper quartile. And that's such a complicated way to really just say the lower median and the upper median. So let's go and find it. I'll mark off a number at a time on the left and the right until I'm left with one number. 79. That's my lower quartile. It's the median of the lower half, 79. The upper quartile, same thing. Mark off a number on each side until I'm left with a number in the middle. Looks like it's 90. That's a 92. Kind of wrote it weird, but it's the pen. I didn't do it, but kind of made it a little hard to read. So that's our upper quartile. Now let's go and find the range. That's the that's the maximum minus the minimum. The biggest number minus the smallest number. 98 minus 71, that gives us 27. And then the IQR, that's the interquartile range. That's the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So upper quartile is 92 minus the lower quartile is 79. That's going to give us 13. That's our IQR, 13. Now let's go make a box and whisker plot. All right, I'm going to draw a number line. Oops, there we go, that'll work. I'm going to go, let's see, I'm just going to go by 5s just for the sake of time, okay? So I'm going to start at 70. I'll have 75. And remember, all the number lines you have are always going to be given to you. You never have to draw your own. Maybe if we do practice, you might. But on a test or a quiz, we'll always give them to you, okay? 95 and 100. Now, let's go and fill in these numbers. I need minimum and maximum. I need the UQ, the LQ, and the median. Those are the 5 things I need to make a box and whisker plot. Let's go and put a dot above each of them. 71, that'd be about right here, right after the 70. 98, that'd be right here, right before the 100. 79, that'd be right here before the 80. 87, that'd be right in between 85 and 90. And 92, that'd be right after the 90. So now I have all my 5 numbers represented on the number line. These are the 5 dots I need. I'm going to go and make the box and whisker shape. The 3 in the center, the 3 dots in the middle, they become the box. The median gets a line straight down it. Now I have 2 boxes. Let's go make our whiskers. They go on the left and right side. All right. So now every box and whisker plot has 2 boxes and 2 whiskers. So there we go. This is a box and whisker plot. All right, let's scroll down a little bit. Let me give that an erase so I can scroll down. 1 second. There we go. Perfect. Let's get the pen going again. Let's go make a box and whisker plot with these, okay? So first thing, let's go and list all the numbers in order from least to greatest. So this one looks like I have, oh my gosh, we just did the second one. This one down here, let's go and list those. All right, so it looks like I have, oh wait, these are actually already listed in order from least to greatest. Oh, all right, one less step to do. So these are already listed in order from least to greatest. Let's go and find all these pieces of information. The minimum, that's going to be 20. That's just our smallest number. The maximum is going to be our largest number, 150. Now, let's go and find the median. I'm going to go and mark off one number, or maybe a couple on the left and the right side, and see what's left in the middle. Oh, it looks like there's a 45 left in the middle. That's going to be our median. Let's go and count these numbers real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's an odd set of numbers, so I'm going to be left with one right in the middle. That's how you can tell. That's kind of the trick. Now let's go and find the lower quartile and the upper quartile. That's such a complicated way to really just say the lower median and the upper median. So whatever the median was, if I had an odd set of numbers, I'm not going to include it. I'm going to draw a line straight through that median that I found so that I don't include it in the lower half or the upper half. So now let's go and find the lower quartile. Let's see. Mark off 1 on the left, on the right, on the left, on the right, on the left, on the right. Looks like I'm left with 30. Yeah, that's right. 30, that's my lower quartile. Let's go do the same thing over here. Mark off 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, the left, the right. I'm left with 65. That's my upper quartile. Now I'm going to go and fill in the range. That's my maximum minus my minimum. 150 minus 20, that's going to give me 130. That's just the biggest number minus the smallest number. The IQR, the interquartile range, that's my UQ, upper quartile, minus my LQ, lower quartile. That's 35. Now let's make a box and whisker plot, all right? I'm going to draw a number line, and because my numbers are 20 to 150, I'm just going to go by tens, all right? Again, you're always going to have them given to you whenever we do one of these, but just for the sake of time, I'm going to list them by tens. 80, 90, 100. Now I'm regretting using that 150. I should have made it a little smaller, but well, is what it is. It'll all be fine. Now let's go and fill in those numbers. I need those first 5 numbers to make my box and whisker plot. I need a 20. Let's put a dot there. I need a 30. Let's put a dot there. 45 is my median. Let's put a dot there. Oh, it'd go about right there. Ignore that one. I need a 65. That'd go in between 60 and 70. And a 150 way down here. The 3 dots in the middle, that's where our box comes in. I'm going to put a line right down the median. So now I have 2 boxes. Let's go and make our whiskers. There we go. There's my box and whisker plot. All right, now let's look at the last one down here. The numbers are already in order from least to greatest, which is great. One less step, okay? So now I'm going to go and find my minimum. It's the smallest number. Looks like that's a 3. My maximum, that's a 15. And now let's go and find the median. I'll mark off 1 on each end. I'm just going to put it underneath so I don't mess up the numbers just yet. All right, let's see what's left in the center. 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. Looks like I'm left with a 7. Awesome. So now that's my median, 7. The lower quartile, I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark off and find the median of that half, that lower half, okay? I'm not going to include the median, everything else. So mark off 1 on the left, the right, the left, the right. I'm left with 2 numbers. In that case, I'm just going to add them up and divide by 2. Find the mean of those 2. So 5 plus 5 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. The lower quartile is 5. Let's do the same thing up here. 7, mark these off, 9 and 10. I'm going to add them up and divide by 2. And I end up with 9.5. Or the trick is that you can just think, what is right in between those? Right in between 9 and 10? It has to be a decimal. It's going to be 9.5. Now let's go and look at the range. That's the maximum, the biggest number, minus the smallest number. 15 minus 3 is 12. The interquartile range, that's really just the distance between the 2 ends of the boxes, all right? This side to this side. That's going to be, let's see, 9.5 minus 5. That's going to be 4.5. Let's go make a box and whisker plot, all right? Let's see, 3 to 15. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, let's go and put our numbers in there. That 5-number summary. Let's do the minimum at 3. Let's put a dot at 3. Let's put a dot at 5, the lower quartile. Let's put a dot at 7, the median. Let's put a dot at the upper quartile, 9.5. That's right in between 9 and 10. Let's put a dot at the maximum, 15. Now let's go and make our box. The 3 dots in the middle, that's where our box forms. Then the median gets a line straight through it. And then I'm going to add my whiskers right on the end. So the whiskers tell us the minimum and maximum. Right in the box, whatever line's going down, that tells us our median. And then the left side of the box tells us the lower quartile, and the right side tells us our upper quartile. All right, so that's box and whisker plots. Thank you guys for sticking around for the whole video, and I will see you guys in class tomorrow. All right, bye.